day. And him, especially proud of being a head coach, his success as offensive line coach, in Alabama, wherever else, and then becoming a head coach that, right, he's got the head coach duties, but still has a lot of the value and intelligence when it comes to offensive line play. And you see that today, right? It's unique, first off. I don't know how many head coaches around the country have that kind of offensive line background and pedigree. You see it on a daily basis. When he comes around us, and it's every day. He's helping coach us with Coach Mirabal, offensive line coach. It makes a difference because he knows what he's talking about. He's been around the block with it. He's done it as a player and a coach, and he's continuing to do it.
Any story behind the cigar socks?
No, they're just cool, honestly. I just like them. So
Are you a socks guy?
Nah, kind of. I used to be when I was a kid, and now I'm just kind of like. I saw him a while ago when I bought him a bunch of other socks, and I brought a bunch here, and then this morning I was like, I'm gonna wear these.
Yeah, I got a pair of avocado socks. I should have worn them. I was saving them for tomorrow. So, thanks.
How does an offensive line with so many new pieces, including yourself, how do you guys gel on the field?
It's reps and getting to know each other, right? Like it starts, I think, off the field. You got to have an established understanding of each other, your personality, what type of person you are, how you respond to this and that, different stimuli, and then on the field. You just got to play together, right? You go through spring, you go through summer drills and whatnot where you're not in pads, but you're still working the mental side of the game. When you get that opportunity, you got to work together, learn to trust each other, know that the guys next to you and the guy 2 spots down, in my case as a center, they know what's going on. They're going to listen to me, right? I tell them what to do. They're going to do it. They're going to communicate with me. Continue to elevate the communication between one another, and then just reps and reps and reps and building the trust.
How do you work with Tyler on set expectations and make sure you guys are doing the right play?
Yeah, so I'll usually always make that call, but he's got full top domain over it, right? Exactly. Unless I know something's going on, I'm like no. But I'll make the call, and he's got to know it just as well as me. First off, I got a good seat. The quarterback's got the best seat, especially when you're 6'4", however tall he is. He can see everything. So when we communicate effectively and he's on the same page as me and the other lineman and the running back or the tight end if they're in the protection, it makes it so much easier for him because, right, he's got to pay attention to his priorities of whatever route concepts we're running, whatever reads he has to make. But he also knows in the back of his mind, this is the protection. So if I'm getting pressure, I know I'm protected here. I know my back's got me here. If there's another one, I might be hot. And it's probably going to be that guy, or it's probably going to be that guy. It just helps the smoothness of play for him.
You had many moments during spring where Tyler may have kind of vetoed you and it worked out, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and it happens fluidly. When you have a quarterback that knows what he's doing in the protection game, as every quarterback should. It's just a smooth, fluid thing. If I call something and he sees something else because some tendency or something that he knows from before the fact, he'll switch it, and it is what it is, and we're good, and that's what we run. And then, if we're wrong, at least we're all wrong together. If we're all wrong together, we got a chance to be right. But really, though, he does a great job of it, recognizing and calling when he needs to.
Have you been doing any cross-training at the positions camp at all, spring?
A little bit in guards. I've played guard in the past at UCF, here and there. Not really much since my second year, since I really started at center the whole time. But I've done a little bit here and there at the guard positions, but most of the time at center. However, Coach Cristobal and Coach Mirabal love to cross-train a lot of guys. They do, yeah. I've done some, not a bunch, but I have taken reps at guard here and there. But he cross-trains a lot with the guards and tackles.
What are some other things that Coach Mirabal has been as far as movement development?
He's coach over the past 6 or 7 months. I've probably learned more from a technical standpoint and just a very in-depth offensive line play, especially as a center, than I had in 2 years leading up to that point, honestly. But first off, what he brings to work every day, one of the highest standards you guys are going to be around. Another dude like Coach Cristobal that he does not sleep. All eat, sleep, breathe football. It's family football. That's it. And then on the field, the amount of knowledge he knows and the success he's had in the past with offensive linemen and putting them in the league and whatnot. What he knows from a technical and assignment and schematic standpoint has taught me a bunch, and I haven't even played a game with him yet. You know what I mean?
What are some things technically that you've been working on?
Technically, me personally, right, a lot of people ask that, and it's kind of everything can get better and better and better, right? I think being specific, being specific, maybe initially, right off the ball, right off the snap. Maybe if I got a big 350-pound nose guard in my face, I've been trying to get more productive in power right off the rip, right? Because I can hit it and then get into it or maybe sometimes in pass protection, sitting stuff down a little quicker on it. Another big dude, type of bigger guys. But really, I think every single day, whatever you're working that day, whatever the concepts, the passing running game, the drill work, the individual, everything, it just sharpen everything as you go. No days.
So those bigger noses are kind of the thing you're kind of working on handling.
I think, yeah, and I think that's for everybody, because if you got a guy that's 350 pounds and he's 6'5", you gotta adjust. You're gonna play him differently from sometimes in a technical standpoint and how you're approaching him. Then you're gonna play a 290 pound, 6'1", taller, more quicker, handsy guy, because you have to, right? A smaller guy, you gotta be more worried about what he's gonna do with his hands and maybe a finesse standpoint. Well, you can probably throw him off the ball. A bigger guy, like, you're less worried about what he's doing with his hands, what he's going to do on the finesse side, more worried about, this guy's huge, I got to take him on, I got to shut him down. So it's a different style of play for sure. Thank you.
What's your excitement levels coming into when you get to be a part of the Florida State Miami rivalry?
Yeah.
That's kind of one that I'm sure you grew up watching.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's super awesome, actually, because, you know, and I'm from Central Florida, so I have a bunch of friends and people that I know are FSU fans that go to FSU, that went to FSU, friends, family, all in between. Same thing with Miami. And I was one that went to Miami because it was Miami, private school, all that. But fans and family down in South Florida. But specifically that, I think that rivalry is so cool. I think that game in Doak Campbell is going to be crazy. It'll be packed out, crazy atmosphere. Yeah.
Were your loyalties with Miami? Were you a Miami fan?
Oh yeah. When I was a kid, yeah. No, see, I grew up about 10 minutes from UCF, from Central Florida, and I was a UCF fan. My dad went there. I had some family that played there, but I grew up going to the games of that. But also at the time, really until recently, now that they're in the Big 12, UCF wasn't the same, still isn't, but especially back 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't the same level as, you know, you want to think about FSU and Miami and UF, right, in the Florida landscape. But for me, maybe because I had a lot of family in Miami, I spent a lot of time in Miami here and there, but this and the Canes, this is always cool to me. I always liked it, you know.
I know it was your first year, but like last year, I think Florida State wins that game big. It was 3 years ago, 2020, Miami wins that game huge. What's this speak to me, especially in rivalries you've been a part of, like I said, the UCF, USF rivalry, how quickly things can turn.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a rivalry game. You know, every game is like of the utmost importance, and everyone's locked in for whatever it's going to be, but there may be a little like subconscious extra adrenaline and boost you get out of a rivalry game just because that's what a rivalry game is. You know, and for what I can speak to, especially UCF and USF, that I've played 4 times and they never beat us, but USF the past several years has been really bad, and UCF's been pretty good records, good solid football team. But we play USF, and all three out of the 4 games are close games. You know what I mean? It's a rivalry game, so they're gonna bring their A game. You're gonna bring your A game. It's probably gonna be a dogfight most of the time, unless, like you said, last year in 2020, someone boat races. You know, I think it's very common. Thank you.
Yesterday was announced that when you guys play the Bulls, it's going to be the Schnellenberger Trophy.
Yeah.
How much do you know about, Howard Schnellenberger, and what do you feel like that game means now that it has something at stake?
Yeah, I'm not super duper familiar with it just because I've not been to Miami in a long time, but I know who he is. I've heard about him a lot. I know he brought a lot of prominence to the University of Miami in the early 80s, and then late 80s or early 90s or whatever, came to Louisville and did the same kind of thing, brought him into prominence. And I know it means a lot, especially to the guys that have been around Miami's program for a long time, like Coach Cristobal specifically. He recruited Coach Cristobal at the time, got him there, and I know he's like a mentor to him. So it runs deep in Miami, and that guy is, as I learn more and more, and I got a good idea about him, but I know he's a legend down there, and it means a lot.
Clemson's kind of been considered a standard in the ACC.
Right. Just you got to play consistent good football on a daily, weekly, yearly basis. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you go back 10, 15 years, Clemson is the gold standard of the ACC, the success they've had, and the national championships and conference championships. That's undeniable. I think all it takes is you need 1 year, right? And that starts with today, right? That starts with when camp starts next week, and just daily basis, not worried about any of the the talk and this and that. Like, it doesn't matter. Go play good football every day, develop every day, do what'll make your team better every day, and let the results, let them happen as they come. And if you work right and you do it hard enough and you do it properly, you're going to get results you want, Appreciate it. Thank you.
Matt, you was at UFC for a few seasons, right? So now